people's platform. Yes. So, the core principle of the indivisible movement is to unite and bring constituent power to hold elected officials accountable. Yes. What better way to do that than to show up on this staircase in Albany with hundreds of our friends to lay out our plan for the first 100 days of the new legislative session. We are here as part of this True Blue Coalition to talk about the People's Platform. What's unique about this platform is how it came together. So the groups that galvanize and organize to take down the IDC and to flip the IDC. Explainer. And also flip districts across the state to bring this progressive majority to New York are teaming up with the issue-based advocacy groups that have been on the grounds, boots on the grounds, focused on these issues forever. Because we know that to pass this bold and progressive agenda, we're going to need to do it together. We're going to need to help each other, prioritize each other's issues, and we're going to need to build constituent education across the state. So we are here together. We're so excited. Thank you all for coming. And I'm going to pass it over to Charles Kahn from Strong Economy for All Coalition to kick us off. Thanks so much.
So I first want to start off by congratulating the senators and congratulating the people of New York for passing agenda and for something that for so long we fought for, and it wasn't until we had this progressive majority of champions that we were able to make it possible. I'm so excited about all of the history that we're going to make this session. That's right. And our New York People's Platform is a grouping of grassroots issue organizations that have been fighting on these issues for decades, and the wave of New Yorkers that took action to put in these champions in Albany. And we want three things. The first thing is we want to make sure that money gets out of politics. We want to make sure we passed historic voting reforms yesterday, and we want to make sure we keep pushing for transformational change. We want to see public matching. We want to see regular small donors lifted up and empowered again in New York State. And we want to make sure that we're seeing money into our communities, right? The resources that our communities have been starved for, we want to make sure we see that. And we want to make sure that we are also seeing accountability. These champions, they ran on a platform of change, and we are going to make sure that we are fighting for that same platform of change and making sure that we are making history. And this platform, it's bold, it's brave, and it's exactly what New Yorkers asked for. In addition to getting money out of politics, in addition to getting money into our communities, we want to make sure that housing is a human right. We want to make sure that we're passing strong. We want to make sure that we are rebuilding New York's infrastructure. We're funding the MTA. We want to make sure that we're passing a Green New Deal to protect our environment, but also to get New Yorkers jobs. Right? To end cash bail, to make sure poverty is not a crime, to make sure we're funding public education, protecting immigrant New Yorkers, making sure that each New Yorker, for their body, they have their own choice. Right? Making sure that civil rights are human rights, getting guns off of our streets, and making sure that we are the class, and this is the year that we clean up Albany and we make sure that it's working for working people. And it's a long platform, but I really want to open it up to our champions, to our elected officials that are going to work with us, right? That are going to help us pass this change. And first, I want to introduce Senator Gianaris.
Thank you. I am proud to bring you greetings from the first woman leader in the history of New York State. And tell you something she always says. She says, take a look at what you have done. Look at what you have done. This is what you did. Look at this. Look at John Lew. Look at Ramos. Look at Zoe Marie. Look at Alessandro. And they're not here, but when you see him. You can look at Robert Jackson and Rachel May too. But you have done amazing things, and you see that we're trying to do our best to make you proud of what you did. You got historic electoral reforms yesterday. You got historic protections for LGBTQ community today. You're going to see more next week. You're going to see more the week after that, and more the week after that. If this was a year ago and Charles read you that list of things you want to get done, you'd say, if we get half of one of those things done, we'll be happy. We're going to try and get them all for you. And it wouldn't have been possible without you, and I want you to know we recognize it, we appreciate it. I know there's a lot of coalition folks here, but since it's called True Blue, Lisa and Mia have done tremendous work. From the first days when this was just an idea in some people's minds, and you all carried it through to conclusion, and now we're just getting started as a majority, so hopefully we'll see you up here a lot more in the coming weeks. And then when we're done in June, we'll celebrate together. Thank you very much.
So much. It was super special just sitting in the chamber just now as we watched our newly elected senators vote to pass GENDA. And especially for the folks that have been knocking thousands of doors on behalf of those that took down that IDC. I want to say it was a truly, truly special moment. So thank you all. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Zellner, who's going to speak a little bit about what happened yesterday.
Yesterday was the beginning and not the end of the journey of New York from worst to first. From worst to first. We have a lot of work to do, and we are in a historic time. I am so proud to stand here with my colleagues and to stand here with all of you because we are going to change how business is done in this building. And yesterday was just the beginning. So I look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to expanding voting rights for all of us. I look forward to reforming our campaign finance system. And just stay tuned because we're not done yet. Thank you.
I want to thank Senator Rivera, Senator Liu, Senator Ramos, my Senator Zellner, my Assemblywoman Diana, Assemblyman Harvey Epstein, Senator Biaggi. Did I miss anyone? I missed one. All right. You got Senator Ramos? I didn't say it? I'm sorry. And next, I want to introduce Mia Perlman from True Blue, New York.
These guys are a hard act to follow, but I'll try. Thanks for everyone for being here. Thank all of you so much for being here. And today we're here with grassroots activists who defeated the IDC and flipped
Again, what?
that thing that shall remain nameless that used to exist, the red districts, and issue advocates and community groups to say, no excuses, we want action. That's right. No excuses. Right. For far too long, the people of New York have heard the same excuses for why we can't have adequately funded schools, small donor match publicly funded elections, affordable housing, public transit, and decent roads, and so much more. Republican control. Well, that's no longer an obstacle, so it's no longer an excuse. That's right. No excuses! Governor Cuomo is going to lay out his budget priorities later today. And we look forward to hearing him speak. He's the governor, we want to hear what he has to say. However, we know that promises made are not always promises kept.
That's right.
We know that legislation often gets watered down until it's virtually meaningless.
That's right.
We know that a bill can be passed and no funding allocated for it.
That's right.
So using this scorecard, we can keep them accountable and keep track of what they do, and we encourage you all to do the same. So here are some scorecards I'm going to pass out to people. Yes, please.
You gave me like 10 of them already.
He's so popular, that's why. There you go. All right. Thank you. There you go. Anybody else?
I got it.
I got it on my phone.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well done. Today we kick off the People's First 100 Days agenda. We have, as you can see, an amazing platform of progressive issues to fight for, and our first priority is getting money out of politics and into communities. We need serious campaign finance reform to completely ban corporate donations, small donor match, publicly financed elections. Yes. Albany works for the people, and the people set the agenda. Our agenda begins today. Yeah. New Yorkers work tirelessly to defeat the shall remain nameless, to flip red seats, and win a stunningly progressive Democratic majority. And we will hold Albany accountable to make good on all of their unfulfilled promises. Together we made New York true blue, now we make it matter. No excuses, we want action!
Council Speaker Corey Johnson. I want to thank Assemblywoman Linda Rosenthal. And I wanted to invite Senator Rivera to say a few words kind of about this momentous day.
Thank you. So what's this ID? What?
Doesn't matter.
This is the moment. This is the moment when I will accept the fact that I am a senior member of this conference. I am an old man, and this is my version of it. In my day, we came here, and there were people who got elected as Democrats, and they didn't serve as Democrats. In my day, we would have to fight for days and sometimes weeks and sometimes years to pass basic common sense legislation like making early voting or being able to protect people because of their gender identity. In my day, none of the great things that we were able to accomplish in 2 days so far. The things that we were able to accomplish in 2 days so far were even a possibility. We are in a different place. And as our good leader said, our good Deputy Leader Gianaris said, we recognize that we would not be here without all of you.
Yes.
Individually, the organizations that you represent and all the communities that you came from and that you organized in, we want to make sure that we keep that energy going. This is a long list of stuff, folks. It is a long list of folks. But in my day, we have been saying that all these things are necessary to make our state better for every New Yorker.
Every New Yorker.
And that's exactly what we're going to do with your help. Thank you so much.
Senator Alexander Bianchi.
Where is he? Okay, who just stepped out. Welcome to the new New York State Senate. We are here because of every single one of you, and I can't even believe this is only the second day of passing legislation. I am moved beyond words, but because I am Italian, I always can find words to say. So I will just say a few. I'm looking at this list, and I am incredibly excited to fight for every single thing on this list with my conference. And I'm looking to number 11, Clean Up Albany. I am the chairwoman of the Ethics Committee. And one of the things that I would love to see added that I'm going to fight for, even if it's on the list, but I know it's in all of our hearts, is making sure that we have a sexual harassment-free. These halls have no place for sexual harassment, sexual abuse, sexual misconduct, and I have a zero tolerance policy for that. So I'm looking forward to fighting for that, for all of these things. Thank you for putting me here. Without every single one of you, I would not be here today. Thank you.
We're here for a lot of issues, and I think one of the most pressing issues across all of the state of New York is finding affordable housing and homelessness, right? Both intertwined, both kind of the #1 issue. So I want to invite up your Communities for Change member, Winsome Pendergrass.
So wonderful to stand before you this evening and this beautiful set of people who are true Democrats. True Democrats who has pledged their support to fight for us. 89,000 homeless people out in the streets of New York. Say it again?
That ain't right.
That ain't right. And it grows under Governor Cuomo's leadership. But we are here to let Governor Cuomo know that if he's kind of him and a harming, him and a butting.
You tell him.
If you are thinking of him and a harming, him and a hipping, we are going to wear our shoes out coming to Albany. Right. We're going to be knocking on we knocked on a lot of doors before.
That's right.
Maybe you ain't seen nothing yet. We're going to be kicking the doors this time. All right. We need people in Albany who will think of their voters.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If you're homeless, you don't have an address. Okay? Is somebody going to register you to vote? So we need this set of people, these true Democrats who we have sent into Albany to work for us. Right across the board. Not just picking out one little thing. We want an M to MCI. Preferential rent. Vacancy bonus. Damn it, we want houses to live in. Children are in school, can't do good because they don't live anywhere. That is not right. Not in a country who is a superpower. Not in a state that leads the world. New York State leads the world. Why do we have so many homeless people? So we are standing beside you, behind you, in front of you, holding my hand, pressing on your back. And if you don't feel my hand, you might feel my knee. Because we need all these laws from Buffalo to Long Island. Nobody, no section, no little crevice and corner of New York is to be left out there where landlords are taking disadvantages of. They are harassing us. They don't fix place. Can you imagine in winter, you call for heat and they don't give you the heat that you need. So we are so thankful to stand here today, and we promise we're going to be coming to Albany so often. We got to get a train pass to Albany, bus passes to Albany. But we're asking you please to remember, there's a gentleman there who don't like to hear the word, but if we do it to the IDC, what do you think will happen next?
And next up is a passionate fighter for Northeast Queens, John Lou.
I'm here to support the People's Platform, but I wanted to just take 30 seconds to say thank you. Because this is not easy for all of you to do. You know, the members of the Senate, the Assembly, we get a salary for doing this. We get an expense stipend. You don't get much for coming up here. It's not easy. You got to take time away from your jobs, from your families. So I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for your advocacy on these issues that will affect all New Yorkers in a really, really good way. I want to thank you for getting me to this position in the first place, because I wouldn't be here without this incredible True Blue coalition. And I'm very proud that my name rhymes with True Blue. I want to thank you. I want to thank Mia Perlman for giving up her partner to come run my campaign. And finally, I want to thank you for restoring my faith in democracy.
All right. Okay. Next, I want to introduce Brian Benjamin.
First of all, I want to say Lisa Delafia is my constituent, so I'm getting the wrong idea here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Senator Brian Benjamin. I represent Northern Manhattan, and I want to not only thank you for slaying the IDC, I also want to thank you for getting on buses and coming upstate to help us win the majority. Republicans this past election cycle. Thank you so much for all of your support, because we wouldn't be standing here without both actions. And so I want to thank you for both. Let me say really quickly, because I see my lovely Jessica Ramos here, and I'd love to hear when she speaks. Number 5, can I be partial to number 5 on the New York People's Platform, which I support? Invest in schools, not jails. Invest in schools, not jails. I am so offended that in Rikers Island right now, over 75% of those who are there have yet to be convicted of a crime. That is not right. Now, you know that ain't right. And the truth of the matter is the people who were in jail right now were not black and brown. Let's be honest, folks. They won't be sitting there right now. We as a society, this would be a human, this would be bigger than the border. This would be a human crisis of the most epic proportions. But somehow, because of who's in there right now, it's another issue on the agenda item. We have got to do better as a society. That is why I'm here as a Democrat, as a real Democrat, to fight to make sure that we have just fairness. We need to have fairness in our housing laws. I agree with this. My dad's making an agreement with the system. But we have got to say it is not okay to have people incarcerated and they haven't even yet to be convicted of a crime. This is insane. A number of whom are there for nonviolent purposes. They're not even threats to society. So I am super. Oh, and cash bail, but that's not on your platform. But the bottom line is, I am so excited that the people who helped get us elected, I see faces of people who are on buses and who helped to get us elected, are here to help us govern. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Jessica Ramos.
Muy buenas tardes. Out of 50 states, income inequality is most rampant in New York. Wow.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. Eso no está bien. And so, what to me is most important in the people's agenda is the underlying understanding that we all do better when we all do better. So for me, yes, this session is about our list of progressive issues to fight for. It's about making sure that our transactional governor understands that this is our house and not his. It's about making sure that while wages have been stagnant for so long, we're putting New Yorkers back to work with decent wages, with protections on the job, and making sure that we actually have a rent system that leads to home ownership. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is to, even within my privileges of having been born in this country, of having gone to school in this country, because I am saddled with student debt, I don't know when I'll be able to buy a home.
That ain't right.
And that ain't right for anybody.
That ain't right.
So I'm here in the state senate today as a preferential renter, as a single mom, for 2 kids who attend a school that's owed millions of dollars every year in state funding, and I don't plan to leave this session until we do right by every New Yorker. So thank you all for your time, for your dedication. I only have one ask. Understand the snowflake organizing paradigm. You're here. Next time, please bring your neighbor with you. Okay. Thank you.
memorable moments on the campaign when we were fighting to get all of these wonderful people elected, but I think one of my absolute favorites was campaigning for Zellner on Election Day and seeing Diana Richardson on No Street Avenue with a megaphone. To make sure he had those votes. So I'm very proud to introduce Diana Richardson.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, as I was standing here, I was getting emotional. Yes. As my colleagues were talking, because I was like, oh my God, I finally got some good comments. You know, I was elected in 2015, and to my dismay, I said, oh my God, state government is a sham. Here it is, we are in the New York State Assembly, and guess what? We've been on the people's platform for years. Right. But across the hall in the New York State Senate, they had the whole thing hijacked by the IDC. Nothing could get passed, and all of our needs were falling on deaf ears. Meanwhile, oh, that ain't right. Meanwhile, we're going back into our communities and we're watching the plight of the everyday New Yorker get worse. To make matters even worse on top of that, I watched a culture of fear. Because we have to ask ourselves, how could the Republicans hijack the New York State Senate for 10 years and nobody was talking about it? Right. Oh, baby, it's not that they didn't know about it. They just wasn't talking about it. So that speaks to the culture of fear that was going on in these hallways. And you know what? I have to thank God for all of you that are standing here. That's right. Because I want you to know how powerful you are. Legislators, the people of power wouldn't even talk about it, but you guys did. Yeah. You said, oh, no. You said the power of the people are greater than the people in power. Yeah. Change. That's right. You got together, you organized, you pushed, you started the social media campaign, you knocked on the doors, you made the phone calls, and all I can tell you right now is thank you. Yeah. All right. And, you know, it's interesting because I know that the public mistrust of government is high. And I know that people started to feel as though their voice didn't matter. But I think the movement and how you took back the New York State Senate sends a direct message that your voice does not fall on deaf ears. And when you organize and mobilize, you are the change. And yes, in 2 years, 2 years, 2 days, we're able to pass things we've been voting on for 16 years. Make it plain. And you know what? Now you laid out a platform. And I want you to hear this big mouth. Because I got your back. Yeah! That's right. Housing is a basic right. And what is happening to the working class New Yorker is a crime. Yes. Big landlord money is running rampant in these halls of Albany. I could talk about it. You know why? Because I would take $1 from the real estate industry. Yeah. Not $1. So I got a real authentic voice. Hello. They are playing with our school children year after year. The campaign for fiscal equity. too much.
Yes.
People are going to tell you that you are reaching too high. People are going to tell you that it's impossible. But I want you to remember, if you would have asked us a year or 2 years ago today, could taking down the IBC was possible. They would have told you no. But in that, you can pass this platform. I want to say thank you because I know that's my time. And please know that in the awesome borough of Brooklyn, you have sent people here who are unafraid and who are unapologetic to fight for people. So I want to say thank you. Do not leave our side. We are going to mobilize. This coalition is going to get bigger and we're going to get everything we ask for.
Next, I want to thank Senator Kennedy for being here, and we're going to hear a few words from Assemblyman.
So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you for what you did. But what I'm thanking you for is what you're going to do. Because that's what's most important. Because the details are what's going to matter. The details of what we're talking about for the next 6 months is what's going to matter. So when the housing bills are coming up, we're going to pass housing bills. But are we going to pass our housing bills? We're going to pass bail reform. But we're going to pass comprehensive bail reform. We're going to pass the voting bills this week, which was great. But we didn't go all the way, right? So we need you all to say, thank you, but not enough. Thank you, do some more. Thank you, we're going to kick you in a little in the butt to keep this moving. Because if you don't do that to us, we're not going to go as far as we want. We're not going to get this platform. We need the push. Diana and I need the push. Our colleagues will need a bigger push. And some of our colleagues will need a huge push. And if we don't get that big push, maybe we got to help them push this out the door. So this is the time. This is the year. This is our moment. Let's make it work for all of us.